Well, Shane, welcome to the program, and I know it's the end of January, but Happy New Year anyway, and you're off to a cracking start. I imagine it's busy as all heck at PGG Wrightson in the livestock business.
Yeah, it is, Mark. It's actually sort of back a reality check, 3 weeks holiday, then sort of straight back into it really. But the good thing about it, when I was on holiday, we got some good rainfalls, especially in those areas that certainly needed it. North Otago, South Canterbury, and I know Southland has been inundated with rain, but it's been sort of travelling down Otago last week, and it's been like an oasis really, like where it was so dry, and all of a sudden you've got all this beautiful quality feed in front of farmers. So it's great. So they'll be able to obviously look after the stock, what they've got left, and the second thing is obviously the supplementary feed for the winter, so they can replenish the hay sheds with feed. So that's good. But sort of what's happened probably in our world in the South Island is that store lamb sales, there's quite a number of those in the new year we have, and certainly where we probably pre-Christmas we struggled because of the dry, where that mark probably for store lambs was around about that 270, 280 a k. That first week back was probably about $3 a k stores, and then this previous week or the last week into just what we had, we're certainly around to that 330, 340 a kilo for stores. So that market's really picked up, which is great, and just for those reasons I said earlier about feed, and the other thing is too, prime lambs, which we have a number on our on-farm sales, would be sort of hovering around that $6.97 a kilo head weight. So so very, very good for the vendors, which is great to see. And so we've sort of started off the year with a cracking pace. But
does that, with all that growth around, all that wonderful lush grass to munch on, I imagine that sets you up nicely for the rest of the year, does it?
Well, yeah, let's put it this way: it's going to get us through the most of that summer period, which is the key. And I guess once you get a bit cooler in the autumn, get a bit of autumn rain, that's going to certainly help into that winter. So it's looking really good, Mark. So it's really pleasing to see, and that's pretty generally right through the South Island. So no, very, very good.
I know they were a bit worried about it late in the year, particularly in South Canterbury, North Otago. Now you've got stag sales as well. They're up and running.
Yeah, well, they've actually finished now, Mark. The last of them finished last week. So they always start off with the reds, where they do the circuit in the North Island, and then come down to the south. They do the red deer, and then they finish with the wapiti. Considering the venison shed was under a lot of pressure with COVID, sales went very well. Very, very good clearance rates. Although the average prices were back from last year, it does show there's quite a lot of confidence in that venison or that deer sector. So farmers are buying those good genetics to put through their herds to get the benefit for it later on. So it was great to see. Probably the highlight at the Netherdale stud, where a red stag made 56k. So the people are prepared to pay for those genetics if it's the right type. So that's been really, really good to see. One of the highlights for me going to those stag sales was the use of bidder on the hybrid sales, and certainly the activity on bidder, not only the actual bidding, but the purchase of stags online was tremendous, and that really added a lot of value to those vendors. So that was really great to see. It worked very, very well. And
you're getting bids from all over the country for South Island sales, effectively.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's just not South Island. It's all over the country. And so look, it saves the travel hassle, I guess, for those people to come down. And a lot of them, they work on their figures. And so it was extremely pleasing to see how well bidder worked over that stag sales time. Yeah.
So now we're heading into February. What's on the cards next? What's the next thing to look out for?
Yeah, it just keeps rolling on, Mark. But certainly, the ewe fairs are really starting now on the South Island, and the first of those was the Two-Tooth Ewe Fair at Temuka yesterday. And it wasn't a big yarding. Last year we had just on 15,000 two-tooth ewes. This year we just had over 5,000, so we're down 2/3. Certainly the prices paid for those top-end boarders was $202 was the top price. Sorry, I'll go back one, $302. I'll get that right. And so that was really pleasing. Those good mediums, sort of 240, 260, and sort of probably, I suppose, you're looking at probably the average sort of two-tooth, if I can explain it that way, around that $220, $220. So had a full clearance. So that was pleasing. And we've got Harden Ewe Fair tomorrow, which is roughly about 15,000 ewes. So they cater for fine wool, strong wool, and also to your older ewes. So that'll be interesting to see how that goes, Mark. But hopefully there will be a bit of zing in there because it's great to see these breeding ewes being kept, retained in the flock.